How my rainbow unicorns, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Sienna and this is Sienna Unfiltered Tarot. Today we have a February 2023 pick a card. I can't believe we're already in the second month of the year so far. There's a lot to celebrate as we recently welcomed the year of the rabbit in the Lunar New Year. But yeah, so here are your messages. Keep in mind that this is a general reading, so not all messages will resonate. And if they don't, leave those for the collective, take what does, or perhaps you may feel compelled to choose a different pile. All is okay. There's a message in here for everyone. So here are your piles. We have pile 1. Now I chose a red jasper crystal for this pile. We have the Lunar Cycles Tarot, I believe, and the red hearts in union together. What a lovely Valentine's Day celebration. Pile 2, we have the gift. We have a tumbled jade stone, and we have the wild unknown tarot. And pile 3, we have the tumbled satellite crystal. We have the rainbow disco ball, and we have the Lord of the Rings tarot. So pick whatever pile you feel most drawn to. There will also be timestamps and emojis in the description box. So there's all sorts of symbols for you to choose from. Again, if you feel called to more than one, feel free to do so. There's no harm. And thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I will hopefully see you in the next one. Toodles! Welcome, pile 1, to your 2023 predictions. I am getting over a head cold and my allergies have been acting up, so bear with me if I sound a little stuffy or the coughs ensue. Before we get into your tarot cards, I want to dive into some oracle that I pulled. So I have 5 cards here. Kind of a lot, kind of a big deal, but I think that this will provide a general overview, and then that way, if you don't feel like this reading resonated, you can find a different pile. So we have Netflix and chill. Valentine's Day is coming up. A romantic chill date at home, sexual chemistry, bait and switch, sexual activity, dating. So we have the throat chakra highlighted with vanity. We have storm warning. Watch out, number 10. I'm going to put these. Also, your stone for this reading is red jasper. That is your crystal of the month, red jasper. We'll talk about her in a second. We have winter, number 17, which also so happens to be the number of the star. So Aquarius season specifically, which at the time I'm filming this, we just started Aquarius season, but it's typically from January 20th to February 18th, 19th or so. We also have Krishna. Krishna is a Hindu deity. He is known as the god of love and compassion. All right, I'm gonna try and fix the glare in the from the light in this. But anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll start with, I actually kind of want to start with this storm warning card. Now, this could be something that you're anticipating. So for example, if you're at a job that you are miserable at, then this tornado has been spinning for some time. Also, 10th house rules career and your public self. Maybe there's been a lot going on in your external world that is affecting your internal environment. We just got out of a Mercury retrograde. I think that with the Vanity card, you might be working through some childhood trauma, some childhood wounds. You could be feeling just disconnected from those around you. Do you ever have a craving? I have for deep levels of conversation. So, for example, you might not really be into the whole gossiping trend, right? Or that just might not be your cup of tea anymore. Some of you relate to movies in a very empathic way. And so, like, for me, as an empath, a highly sensitive individual, I have a really hard time seeing people go through pain because I feel it, and it just, I don't know. I'm getting with this bait and switch in the Vanity card that you could be dealing with someone who could be a covert narcissist, meaning that, like, especially with bait and switch, if you don't know what that is, it's a form of gaslighting. Or you, like, this could be someone you're really close to. You're seeing them be gaslighted, which is not a fun time either. You might be feeling undervalued from loved ones or unappreciated. And this is also a reminder because some of you, for example, might have taken a well-paying job. And while money is good to have, if you're miserable and, like, want to rip your eyes out every day, is it really worth that emotional cost? So cost benefit analysis might be great. I also heard there's actually a song by Hunter Hayes. He's a country singer. You might have heard him sing the song Wanted. I think that was, like, one of the main songs that he got famous for, but I believe this song was on his first album. I like Hunter Hayes. I'm not a huge fan, but I just thought it was worth mentioning the lyrics. I'm gonna wish I had a storm warning. I'm gonna wish I had a sign. I'm gonna wish I had a little heads up. In the lyrics, it says leapway. I'm pretty sure it meant leeway. A little more time. And then it's like, I wish I had a storm warning. So someone might catch you by surprise. And that could be that covert narcissist where they promise you something, and then just when you think they're going to be true to themselves, they end up pulling back on what they say they're going to do. It stands for BS. So don't believe the BS. Like, if this deal sounds too good to be true, then that's probably what it is. I was also hearing the song The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Flowers is a work of art. And I was watching a video actually by Sloan, and he was talking about it. And I think towards the end, he had said that he wasn't really sure if this song, like, meant that she was over him or not. And I just think that creating art is sort of like the aftermath of the storm. So maybe you are going through a very horrendous breakup, or you're experiencing a lot of turbulence in your career. And with Krishna, it's really important to understand that when God pushes you to the edge of your comfort zone, to the edge of those difficult hardships, either he's going to catch you when you fall, or he's going to teach you how to fly. And you might not believe me now. That is okay, because I don't want to I'm not telling you shake it off. I'm not telling you like pick yourself up again. What are you doing sitting on the couch? But I'm just asking you to consider what might be going on inside. There's this internal dissonance or like feeling of disconnect that might be bringing on like almost like a dysphoria or dissociation. The 10th of February could be a significant day for you, or the 17th. And I also just heard that this could be a date that is significant to you. Whether this be like a loss, a personal loss, like that you grieved, and or like this is the anniversary of a trauma, for example. And so like making the most of it, making the best of it. Winter is also calling you to slow down, okay? And you might be working too with ancestral trauma. And I think I had said, but you might be working through healing past wounds of codependency, of like issues with your mother or your father. Like perhaps your father is like you've learned from your parents that when you do really well, you get rewarded. And so subconsciously you have taken that on throughout your whole life. And so this feeling of not doing enough is eating away inside. Winter is a time where we have to spend a lot of time indoors. That is not to say that you just stay inside as a hermit, right? But explore your hobbies, okay? Take time to focus on what makes life a little bit more enjoyable. And Krishna, in the book, I remember it said that play is a form of spiritual devotion or expression. We often don't consider that, especially when, you know, your kids are playing and you watch them and you really, like, it. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, but you can actually learn a lot if you think of play as a language where you get to express all of that. And again, that comes back to the songwriting. Maybe some of you are working on a new song. With sexual chemistry, sexual activity, this could be maybe the first time for some of you. And as long as it's consensual and you are taking responsibility, so as to, you know, have protection, that is fine. I am just saying that, like, the little details are not going to matter. It's the connection to your person. And think of sex as a spiritual act. It's more than just like doing it, right? It's uniting like two divine beings. Okay. Oh, here. So a need to build faith is sort of your focus for February. I don't think I read you the Climb lyrics. I am not someone, I mean, I can remember lyrics. I'm relatively good, but I haven't listened to The Climb in a while. So there's always going to be another mountain, always going to want to make it move, always going to have to lose. I don't know if she says always there. Ain't about how fast I get there. It's about what's waiting on the other side. Here's the climb. But it's the process, right? It's the path that you take. So before we get into tarot, hold on. Before we get into tarot, I wanted to take a minute to do some book magic. So today's book magic, I don't mind this sticker. I don't know how that got there. But it's The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck. As you can see, this book is really well loved. Thank you, Aunt Maria. She's the best. Okay. I think I bought this because of her, and then she actually gifted me a hard copy. But the page that I turned to is called cathexis. And cathexis is merely just like knowing other people. So it says, one of the aspects of dependency is that it is unconcerned with spiritual growth. Dependent people are interested in their own nourishment, but no more. They desire filling, they desire to be happy, they don't desire to grow, nor are they willing to tolerate the unhappiness, the loneliness, and suffering involved in growth. Neither do dependent people care about spiritual growth of the other, the object of their dependency. They care only that the other is there to satisfy them. I'll put this here so you can follow along. Dependency is but one of the forms of behavior to which we incorrectly apply the word love when concern for spiritual evolution is absent. We will now consider other such forms, and we hope to demonstrate again that love is never nurturance or cathexis without regard to spiritual growth. We frequently speak of people loving inanimate objects or activities. Thus we say, he loves money, or he loves power, or he loves to garden, or he loves to play golf. Certainly, an individual may extend himself or herself much 80 hours a week to amass wealth or power. Yet, despite the extent of one's fortune or influence, all this work and accumulation may not be self-enlarging at all. Indeed, we may often say about a self-made tycoon, he's a small person, mean and petty. While we may talk about how much this person loves money or power, we frequently do not perceive him as a loving person. Why is this so? It is because wealth or power have become, for such people, ends in themselves rather than a means to a spiritual goal. The only true end of love is spiritual growth or human evolution. Oh my God, and this is, look at this. Hobbies. Hobbies are self-nurturing activities. In loving ourselves, that is, nurturing ourselves for the purpose of spiritual growth, we need to provide ourselves with all kinds of things that are not directly spiritual. To nourish the spirit, the body must also be nourished. We need food and shelter. No matter how dedicated we are to spiritual development, we also need rest and relaxation, exercise and distraction. Saints must sleep, and even prophets must play. Thus, hobbies may be a means through which we love ourselves. But if a hobby becomes an end in itself, then it becomes a substitute for rather than means to self-development. Sometimes it is precisely because there are substitutes for self-development that hobbies are so popular. On golf courses, for instance, one may find some aging men and women whose chief remaining goal in life is to knock a few more strokes off their game. This dedicated effort to improve their skill serves to give them a sense of progress in life and thereby assist them in ignoring the reality that they have actually stopped progressing, having given up the effort to improve themselves as human beings. If they loved themselves more they would not allow themselves to passionately settle for such a shallow goal and narrow future. On the other hand, power and money maybe means to a loving goal. A person may, for instance, suffer a career in politics for the primary purpose of utilizing political power for the betterment of the human race. Or some people may yearn for riches, not for money's sake, but in order to send their children to college or provide themselves with the freedom and time for study and reflection, which are necessary for their own spiritual growth. It is not power or money that such people love, it is humanity. Among the things that I am saying here and throughout this section of the book is that our use of the word love is so generalized and unspecific as to severely interfere with our understanding of love. I have no great expectation that the language will change in this respect. Yet as long as we continue to use the word love to describe our relationship with anything that is important to us, anything we affect, with our regard for the quality of that relationship, we will continue to have difficulty discerning the difference between the wise and the foolish, the good and the bad, the noble and the ignoble. Using our more specific definition, it is clear, for instance, that we can love only human beings. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm not trying to read the whole audiobook. My camera is going to cut me off, however, so I do want to reset. So I will see you in a sec. So maybe what potentially you thought made you powerful or what you thought made you happy is in fact an illusion. Come back and let me know if something happens between the 10th and the 17th that is life-changing, okay? Because you can't rebuild a structure with the same old parts. You have to replace them, right? And you have to think about how you're going to build the structure so that a storm won't destroy it. So how are you doing things differently? So pile 1, can we get some messages for what pile 1 can expect in February? Oh, by the way, if you did not resonate with this at all, if it's not your jam, then don't let the tarot be your peanut butter in this reading, okay? I promise you there will be messages for you in another pile. Connect with your intuition and it will be set. Okay. Messages for pile 1, February 2023. I almost said 2022. Maybe something happened last February that is coming back this year. I just heard like you're learning what unconditional love means and you're redefining how you receive love. And that's obviously a process. That's not just something you wake up and all of a sudden recognize. So give yourself that patience and that grace. We have the Chariot taking leaps of faith. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Some of you might be almost going backwards. Not going backwards, but like, let's say you followed your father's instructions and you became that engineer or that doctor or that lawyer, but you're not happy. So you're like, okay, hold on. Let's take a look. I don't know. I don't know where I went with that. We have the Lovers. And we have the Moon. Interesting. And the card at the bottom of the deck is the Three of Pentacles, which I love this. So with the Chariot is about movement. It is about progress. It's almost seen as a victory card, and getting over someone. So this King of Pentacles in reverse could be a former lover of yours, and this would be excuse me, King of Pentacles would be Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. You see how he's almost using this blanket as like a parasail to get him over this river. He had to use his innovation, and he had to use his skills. It almost feels like you don't perceive yourself to be worth it, which is really sad. And it's sad because sometimes it can keep us stuck, and yes, you have to experience that process. Let me see what, can you clarify the Chariot, please? Can you clarify the Chariot? Also, I did realize we have two here, like two candles, yin and yang. Vanity calls for a sense of balance. And then we have these two birds here, a black and a white bird. We have the Lovers and 7 is also the house that rules Libra. So there is some sort of initiation too in relationships, potentially. Can you clarify the Chariot? Some of you might be getting a new car. So this King of Pentacles might be an opportunity for you to get this, and it hasn't come into your awareness just yet. I think you're moving out of this 3 of Swords energy in reverse. It says great disillusionment, disorder, and confusion. You might receive messages that you don't want to hear in February, whether this be like the realization of a harsh reality. But with this Lover's card, I'm seeing a sense of harmony and a sense of openness, and it's almost like you're learning how to cope with your inner child, and that might be what you're connecting. Can you clarify the King of Pentacles, please? Can you connect me or clarify the King of Pentacles for me? Pile 1. A lot of cards came out. You're learning to love yourself beyond your accomplishments, beyond your achievements. Yeah, so we have the Knight of Cups, a young man with light brown hair and hazel eyes, good news, an invitation to a social affair. This is you in my eyes, and I see this as possibly either like a banker, like let's say you need a loan for a business that you've always wanted to start. Oopsies. And you're finally what is happening? This could also be that you're getting advice. I'm so done with this setup. Guys, I'm so done. Ugh. Okay, so this is also emotional freedom. Freeing yourself from limiting self-beliefs. So for example, like you can't go out and wear that because that's not, like, you don't look pretty enough, or you can't pull it off, or like, and this is just your inner voice telling yourself this. This isn't, this could be this person, like, who is very, It almost feels like they judge you if you go outside of the lines that they say are okay to do. And the moon and the lovers, like, they both highlight this feminine aspect. The moon can be a mother or a maternal figure. This could just also be creativity, connecting with your dreams. Maybe you're seeing storms or owls come to you in your dreams, or this, like, to me, she's like a crone figure. This spirit here is older, so you might have like a spirit guide or an angel or a saint or a past loved one come to you in a dream with some news, okay? Or they might give you advice in your dreams, or they might try to show you an answer to a problem that you're facing in the 3D. Clarity on the lovers. Excuse me. Yeah, we have the Knight of Pentacles. A very dark-haired, dark-eyed young man. This card indicates new responsibilities. So that could be the go-ahead. I'm also seeing siblings here because this is the card of Gemini. So you might know a Gemini. Your sibling might be a Gemini, or they might have Gemini as their sun, moon, or rising. Or they could have Cancer or Pisces. This is all about coming on to the same page. This almost makes me feel, because apples are a sign of fertility, so like sexual chemistry and all of that, like maybe watch a movie from your childhood as an adult that maybe you've always wanted to see and you never got to, but it almost feels like you're redefining your reality according to your standards. Clarify the moon, please. The moon card. We have the Six of Wands. It says success over enemies, good news about an undertaking. And at the back, we have Pluto, lucky number 4, indicates misunderstandings with relatives or personal friends. So I think that it's almost like the moon goes through cycles, right? And I think that it's almost, we've had a lot of like balance. And so no, not everybody is going to respect what it is that you're doing, but that doesn't mean that you stop doing it. Just because somebody thinks that wearing that shirt isn't your color, are you gonna stop wearing it? Probably not, because maybe you love Rick and Morty, or maybe, don't let other people shame you for your existence. And with the Three of Pentacles and the moon, you could be working again on unraveling these false truths. It's almost like the fear is false news. Are you gonna believe it? No. I mean, maybe initially, but then you have to go and uncover. I also am hearing, I'm also hearing that you're going to be breaking out of your shell a little bit more, going to be coming out of your comfort zone. We have Capricorn, lucky number 5, and we have the Strength card for this Three of Pentacles. This says, denotes anxiety or uncertainty, indicates worry and confusion, and that's also this moon energy. We might not know how it's gonna turn out, but I think this ego death of yours, so to speak, is encouraged because it's not about the outcome. It's about the journey. It's not about what's happening 6 months from now. It's about what you do today. We also have the Strength card because it does take strength to take that first step forward. It says good willpower and success in overcoming obstacles. Maybe instead of seeing your circumstances right now as a problem, seeing them as a blessing in disguise might help you. I also just saw 1, 2, 3, 4 on the viewfinder. So that is almost like what is happening needs to happen because it's the next phase. And you might want to be stuck in this one phase of your life, but your spirit guides have a different plan for you. Let's get a message. I want to get a few more oracle cards. So I want to clarify what is happening in love, career, and finances. And then I usually either draw a spirit guide message or an affirmation. Maybe I'll do both if I'm in the mood, you know? It's been a minute since I've done monthly pick-a-cards. Let me know, by the way, what it is that you want to hear from me. Like, what videos do you want to see on this channel? Because I am relatively new, and I want to make content that you guys want to see. So, again, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. Some of you might be watching Harry Potter. I'm getting Hedwig vibes. Maybe Hedwig meant a lot to you as a child. We have attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying the moment fully. A rose doesn't just like pop out of the freaking sky, right? Like, it starts as a little bud and it grows and expands. And I was talking about sacred sexuality earlier. We have religious factors on the back of the deck. Your love life is influenced by religious upbringing and spiritual path. But this is also like unearthing truths that maybe were told to you and instilled by that surrounding community. So for example, like premarital sex, like that might be something that you have been told not to do. Otherwise, you're going to be a sinner and you're going to go to HE double hockey stick. No, get the front door out. Like, that is some old-age verbiage. We don't, it honestly, it tears me up inside because I have sort of a traumatic, not like like strong traumatic, but like just with the Catholic Church. And it's not that I don't believe in God. It's something that I guess I'm working with. But I was grown and I was raised in a Catholic school, like from first grade through college. And so there's some rhetoric, especially coming out as bisexual. I was guys, I was terrified of telling my Nona. I thought that she was going to, because at the time I was dating a woman. Oh gosh, we can't even get into that. But she actually surprised me, and she was super, super accepting and loving and appreciative of my partner at the time. So also, like, I think this is a sign, like, don't be afraid of changing the future. Okay? I love my family for that reason. Love them. Okay. So we're going to get a career message for you. I also feel like you might meet someone when you least expect it. Or this person that you are attracted to, excuse me, the person that you're attracted to might not be your usual type. That's the beauty of romance, right? That's the beauty of falling in love. We have books. You connect to your life purpose through your involvement with books. Maybe you start a booktube channel. Maybe you read a book in the self-help department. Anything by Brene Brown. There's a few others there's The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck. There's also People of the Lie by Scott Peck. All About Love by Bell Hooks. That's a really good one. This one was actually recommended to me by my therapist. I actually learned a lot from my therapist. I loved her. This is by Dr. Judy Rosenberg, and this is actually like a whole mind map system. If you do it, it will help a lot. It will help a lot. And she also has a podcast too, Dr. Judy. And then there's this workbook. This is the self-love workbook by Dr. Shayna Ali. I flipped to this page here, fill your cup. So how do you fill your self-care cup? And then let's take this a little deeper. Why do you turn to these methods? And it's just three of each. You don't have to write a lot. And then I guess the final 2 prompts for this activity include, when do you follow through with these examples? Or when you follow through with these examples, how do you feel? When you lack the time or energy to follow through with these examples, do you notice a difference? So like maybe reading is a part of your core morning routine, night routine, etc. And you truly notice a difference when you don't get that opportunity or that time to open a book. Okay. Also, Atomic Habits might be something you want to read, because I think it really emphasizes process over product. I'm sorry if the cards got shifted. Detox your friendships. Your abundance flow is being affected by the people with whom you're spending time, so be discerning about your associations and relationships. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. Your parents might have a very different relationship to money than you do. So for some of you, your parents are boomers, and I know that generation has experienced a lot, but it also sometimes, like, it's a very difficult boundary to penetrate when it comes to trying to, explain to them things. They're very stuck in their ways and their attitudes. So also be open to that. If, like, sometimes, like, I always say, boomers, for the most part, their cake is baked. They already put that in the oven and they took it out. So you can't change cake once it's baked. It's a chemical reaction. You can put frosting on the cake, but you cannot take the cake apart and change the components of it. So with that being said, that is okay. Sometimes you just have to respect that there are going to be differences. You don't necessarily have to engage with that person, and you can set your own personal boundaries. And you can also find different, almost like, what's it called? Support groups to talk about the effects of covert narcissism. My camera's going to give out on me. Give me 1 second. I just felt compelled to pull out these affirmation cards. If you want to get a personal reading from me, I always leave my Etsy shop linked down below, and I actually run sales quite often. So yeah, and if you follow me on TikTok, there is a code over on my bio for 15% off now through the 31st of January in personal readings. Interesting. We have 3. Also, if you have a certain book that you love and recommend, or love to recommend, leave it down below, because I am always looking to expand my horizons. Get the front door out of here. We have worthiness. I am worthy of the ultimate happiness. I deserve and accept it, and damn it, I'm not going to feel guilty about it when I get it. Guilt is not invited to my happiness party. I won't even tell him where it is. If he asks about it, I'll be like, no, I think you're thinking of something else. And then I'll run away very quickly. I love these cards. I love them. I love them. I love them. We have ups and downs. Oh my gosh, it's everything. I see life as an incredible ride, and I'm lucky to be on it. Yes, the ups and downs make me want to puke sometimes, but they're also what make things fun and interesting. And when you do look back, even puking on yourself makes for a good story. There's that song by AJR. I don't know, but it's like 100 bad days. It's 100 bad days make for 100 good stories. Da 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 makes me interesting at parties. And then we have these are themes we all talked about. Oh my gosh, I love it when the universe just hits that synchronicity. It hits it makes me really happy to see this. I give generously to those around me, no matter how much or how little I have. I know there's more than enough to go around, and that the key is to allow it to keep going around without stopping. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person at the stadium who doesn't do the wave. Don't knock it till you try it, okay? Okay, pile one, that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting me read for you. And if you liked this video, if it resonated, give it a thumbs up. Again, I would love to hear what kind of content you want to see from me in the future. So please, please, please let me know what you want to see, whether it be deck reviews, whether it be like top 5 decks for beginners, or it's astrology related content. Let me know what you're interested in, okay? Thank you so much. Toodles! Pile 2, welcome to your reading. It's going to be very fun. So before I get into your tarot cards, I'm going to dive into some oracle, and then you can decide whether or not this is the pile for you. So you don't have to listen to the whole reading. You can choose another one if you don't think that this one resonates. Okay. So we have the Temple Path with, number 12. I always think Yellow Bricked Road, and your crystal pile 2 is, a tumbled piece of jade. So we have the Temple Path. We have a full moon at the number 4. Making sure that you can see these. Also, I am just getting over a cold, so if you hear me coughing or if I sound stuffy, that is why. We have growth. We have blessed. This is probably one of my favorite cards in the millennial deck. Something good has happened, expressing gratitude for blessings, feeling lucky, luck is on your side. And then we have Anahata, or the heart chakra. So, oh my goodness. And I'm seeing a theme of self-love here. I'm also seeing a lot of growth happening in your finances, whether this be growth that comes from money in, or this is This has been accumulated over the course of a period of time where you've built up your savings and you have this strong foundation. Okay, so we're going to start this full moon card here. And the full moon is actually happening in Leo on the 5th, so almost. But you can start full moon work 3 days before the full moon or 3 days after the full moon. That is when the energy of the snow moon is going to be the most potent. Maybe you're reuniting with friends during this time. That might be a really beautiful way to celebrate, or just one friend. And this could even be done virtually, where you read to each other intentions, or you just make a conscious effort to appreciate yourself more. Okay. This is you feeling full in life, or feeling fulfilled, feeling inspired, possibly. And wherever your full moon is happening, whatever house, that is where you're going to notice yourself shine and your efforts show the brightest, okay? Let's get I did not feel compelled to do this in the last group, but for some reason, Spirit is calling me to roll the Astro dice. So you could have the full moon happening in your 4th house, which would make you guys Taurus risings. We have 7, so it could be happening in the 7th house. You could be noticing a lot more in your romantic life. We have 8 as well, which is all about, it's the house that rules sex, death, and relationships. This is the house ruled by Scorpio. 7 is the house ruled by Libra. And we have Aquarius. I get the dice mixed up all the time. Interesting. We have Jupiter. So an expansion of hopes and dreams. Possibly this is like a couple's wish coming true. So some of you, if you've struggled with fertility, that might be something. Or that could be you signing a house, because 7 has to deal with contracts and Jupiter is expansion. I would check to see where you have Jupiter in your chart. It rules the 9th house, but obviously your personal natal chart will be different. But the 8th house, so I was using headphones, which is something that I usually don't do, but they made a really weird sound, so I don't know what happened. I'm not using them. Where your thoughts go, energy flows. So you are learning how to be more compassionate with yourself, especially with the heart chakra. Opening your heart to new experiences, even if that means loss, means something. And this with this Temple Path card here, you're really focusing on your health physically and getting those checkups, making sure that your diet is filled with nourishing foods, okay? And I see growth. When I was in my master's actively, I was going through a lot. I really cultivated this concept of a growth garden. And obviously sometimes you have to weed it. There are going to be times when you have to nourish the soil, right? Rejuvenate the nutrients and fertilize it. And sometimes death happens, but that's what makes your garden stronger. Sometimes not everything is meant to last, as hard as that can be. But with the heart chakra, I really see that you're showing up for yourself. So if you're telling yourself, I want to move more, or I intend to move my body more. I like intend better than want. But that means, okay, I like getting a walk, taking a walk every day, or going to the gym 4 times a week. And this is a promise that you're keeping to yourself. I also think you're prioritizing, some of you could be prioritizing your mental health. So if you've been through a loss, maybe your path is telling you or showing you that therapy might be a really healthy outlet for you to express the grief. Giving yourself credit for the road that's led you on the path so far. I saw on Instagram this quote, and it said, remember all the things that you at one point wanted and now you have. Like, you don't always get it the first time around, but that's what makes crossing that finish line so powerful. But working with the heart chakra is going to be really beneficial for you this month. Crystals that are green. I have some here. You might not be able to see them. I know we talked about jade as your crystal for the month. But you can even work with green aventurine. I also have some green fluorite. Flo. Her name's Flo. I'm going to put these crystals in your line of vision. Okay. But I think you're really celebrating where you... Oh, and we have a Gaia stone, by the way. That's another one. It's the most I've ever had. But see, I didn't used to have any green stones, and now I have them, you know? And so there was a point in my time when I didn't... A point in life where I didn't have all the crystals for my heart chakra. But now look, I have 4. Giving yourself credit for the road that I think I said that. How you expressed, bleh. Think about how you were shown what love was, or how you perceived love as a child versus how you see love now. That's another big indicator of growth. But working with the heart chakra could mean those crystals. I've seen that the fire element is associated with the heart, but I've also seen air, but I'm not sure. But I also thought water is associated because it's love, it flows. So let me know what element you think is associated with the heart chakra. Okay. But eating green foods like kiwi, kale, spinach, broccoli, spirulina, or working with herbs like basil, lavender, or sage. Essential oils like orange oil, lavender, geranium, bergamot. All of those things help to strengthen your heart chakra. So consider prioritizing your heart health because it can help also fight that lethargic feeling that you might have. And repeat your affirmation for the month as I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And for your homework, try to list like 3 reasons why you love yourself, or 3 reasons why you're grateful. I think that might be a really amazing way to channel that energy feeling. I'm actually taking a different deck, and before I do, my battery is actually going to die on me, so let me change her first. Okay, so Pile two. What can you expect to hear? We have the 5 of Swords in reverse. So I would say that this is all about facing your fears, about healthy communication. You know what? Hold on. I forgot to do your book magic. Hold on. I'm all over the place. Okay, so your passage comes from The Road Less Traveled. I think I'm just going to use the same book in all of my readings. Or not every reading, but just for this, pick a card because it has some really powerful messages. This is Dr. M. Scott Peck, A New Psychology of Love, Traditional Values, and Spiritual Growth. So page 88 is where we're going to turn to. I will captionize the passage that I read to you from. I'm going to be reading pages 88 and 89, I think. The future will be all light. The unreality of these feelings when we have fallen in love is essentially the same as the unreality of the 2-year-old who feels itself to be king of the family and the world with power unlimited. Just as reality intrudes upon the 2-year-old's fantasy of omnipotence, so does reality intrude upon the fantastic unity of a couple who have fallen in love. Sooner or later, in response to the problems of daily living, individual will reassert itself. He wants to have sex. She doesn't. She wants to go to the movies. He doesn't. He wants to put money in the bank. She wants a dishwasher. She wants to talk about her job. He wants to talk about his. She doesn't like his friends. He doesn't like hers. So both of them, in the privacy of their hearts, begin to come to the sickening realization that they are not one with the beloved, and that the beloved has and will continue to have his or her own desires, tastes, prejudices, and timing different from others. One by one, gradually or suddenly, the ego boundaries snap back into place. Gradually or suddenly, they fall out of love. Once again, they are two separate individuals. At this point, they begin either to dissolve the ties of their relationship or to initiate the work of real loving. By my use of the word real, I am implying that the perception that we are loving when we fall in love is a false perception, that our subjective senses of lovingness is an illusion. Full elaboration of real love will be deferred until later in this section. However, by stating that it is when a couple falls out of love, they may begin to really love, I'm also implying that real love does not have its roots in a feeling of love. That's a lot. We're going to unpack that. To the contrary, real love often occurs in a context in which the feeling of love is lacking, when we act lovingly despite the fact that we don't feel loving. Assuming the reality of the definition of love with which we started, the experience of falling in love is not real love for several reasons that follow. Falling in love is not an act of will, it is a conscious choice. No matter how open to or eager for it we may be, the experience may still elude us. Contrarily, the experience may capture us at times when we are definitely not seeking it, when it is inconvenient and undesirable. We are as likely to fall in love with someone with whom we are obviously ill-matched with as with someone more suitable. Indeed, we may not even like or admire the object of our passion. Yet try as we might, we may not be able to fall in love with the person whom we deeply respect and with whom a deep relationship would be in all ways desirable. This is not to say that the experience of falling in love is immune to discipline. Psychiatrists, for instance, frequently fall in love with their patients, just as their patients fall in love with them. Yet out of duty to the patient and their role, they are usually able to abort the collapse of their ego boundaries and give up the patient as a romantic object. The struggle and suffering of the discipline involved may be enormous, but discipline and will can only control the experience. They cannot create it. I'm going to read that again. The struggle and suffering of the discipline involved may be enormous, but discipline and will can only control the experience. They cannot create it. We can choose how to respond to the experience of falling in love, but we cannot choose the experience itself. Falling in love is not an extension of one's limits or boundaries. It is a partial and temporary collapse of them. The extension of one's limits requires effort. Falling in love is effortless. Lazy and undisciplined individuals are as likely to fall in love as energetic and dedicated ones. Once the precious moment of falling in love has passed and the boundaries have snapped back into place, the individual may be disillusioned, but is usually none the larger for the experience. When limits are extended or stretched, however, they tend to stay stretched. Real love is a permanently self-enlarging experience. Falling in love is not. Falling in love has little to do with purposefully nurturing one's spiritual development. If we have any purpose in mind when we fall in love, it is to terminate our own loneliness and perhaps ensure this result through marriage. Certainly, we are not thinking of spiritual development. Indeed, after we have fallen in love and before we have fallen out of love again, we feel that we have arrived, that the heights have been attained, that there is both no need and no possibility of going higher. We do not feel ourselves to be in any need of development. We are totally content to be where we are. Our spirit is at peace. Nor do we perceive our beloved as being in need of spiritual development. To the contrary, we perceive him or her as perfect, as having been perfected. If we see any faults in our beloved, we perceive them as insignificant, little quirks or darling eccentricities that only add color and charm. If falling in love is not love, then what is it other than a temporary and partial collapse of ego boundaries? I don't know. But the sexual specificity of the phenomenon leads me to suspect that it's a genetically determined instinctual component of mating behavior. In other words, the temporary collapse of ego boundaries that constitutes falling in love is a stereotypic response of human beings to a configuration of internal sexual drives and external sexual stimuli, which serves to increase the probability of sexual pairing and bonding so as to enhance the survival of the species. Or to put it in another, rather crass way, falling in love is a trick that our genes pull on our otherwise perceptive mind to hoodwink or trap us into marriage. Frequently, the trick goes awry, one way or another, when the sexual drives and stimuli are homosexual. Okay, hold on. I hope that he doesn't mean that homosexuality is... I think he just means... if you come into your identity, then obviously you cannot be with the same person. Or when other forces, parental interference, mental illness, conflicting responsibilities, or mature self-discipline supervene to prevent the bonding. On the other hand, without this trick, this illusory and inevitably temporary regression to infantile merging and omnipotence, many of us who are happily or unhappily married today would have retreated in wholehearted terror from the realism of the marriage vows. Essentially, first of all, you don't marry... This almost feels, to an extent, that I guess conflict is coming to a resolve, and you are learning how to speak to your partner in a way that doesn't belittle them, but also doesn't undermine your desires or your needs. The Five of Swords can sometimes mean winning at all costs and like doing whatever it takes to get your point across. But there's a fine line between being right and being happy about something. And so I would ask you to assess if you need to take accountability for something. So for example, let's say you're complaining about your job to your partner all the time. And your partner is getting really irritated because it's just a clusterfuck of complaints. And like when you get home and all you see is negativity and the house is a mess and the clothes need to get folded and there's dishes in the sink that need to get done. Like instead of working on opposite teams and building each other up, you guys are learning, like you guys knock each other down for things that should be done. Or like, why don't you just get another job? Like, you know, sometimes it's not that simple. So I think for those of you who are in relationships, you're learning how to communicate in a much more constructive way. For those of you who are single, I would just make sure that you and this other person are on the same page when it comes to the level of commitment that you want to invest in this relationship. It was, there's this guy that I was, like, I didn't really feel comfortable dating him because he lied on his Tinder profile, and I think he said he was like 3 years older, but like going from like, I don't know, he was almost 10 years older than me. And not that like age is just a number, I get that, but like I don't like showing up and knowing that, like, that person is dishonest, but he said, he said, I love you, like, the second date. And that was a red flag for me. I think that I knew, like, after that, I just couldn't see him anymore. So it was like, honestly, I walked away. And I knew I had to walk away because that wasn't a healthy connection, really. So sometimes you have to do what you have to do for the sake of winning. That might be just, like, getting out of there. Let's see what else. And that's a random ass story. Interesting. Also, the Five of Swords, I think, in reverse is telling you gotta do you. So, like, if your parents are wanting you to pursue something that you don't want to pursue, or they're putting pressure on a lifestyle that you don't want to live anymore, you sort of have to know when to assert yourself and cut the cord. We have the Lovers. We had a few cards come out, so I'm just going to lay them all out. This is the Four of Wands in reverse. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Father of Wands. I'm going to say that there's a deep sense or need for freedom of expression. And with the Lovers, you might have to move or migrate a little bit to make that happen. I'm also seeing you guys connect to different individuals to kind of help you get there, to help you see that realization. With the Four of Wands, it kind of looks like an eye. And so, like, imagine if these birds are flying over this eyeball and they're like, whoa, insight, right? Like, sometimes there's, like, it almost feels like this Four of Wands is like this vortex of change that is really going to help you see your truth. Let's clarify the Five of Wands in reverse. Can we clarify the Five of Wands? I'm going to do this through all the cards. Yes, we have good judgment in vital matters. So again, interesting. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. This card is a good fortune. This card greatly improves the fortune of the cards around it. So maybe you guys take a chance on something, because the Fool can often talk about an unexpected win. So for some of you, this is something like, this is, whether it's good or bad, it's going to change the environment. And in my eyes, I'm seeing this for the better. I'm also seeing that you're speaking to yourself in a way that is more self-compassionate, and you're trying to make a conscious effort not to put yourself down. Yeah, so I would be careful with the Ten of Swords in reverse. It says temporary financial gains from a risky adventure, possible losses later. So just be mindful of how you invest your time and your money. I also heard some of you are getting into meal prepping. Can you clarify the Lovers card, please? Can you clarify the Lovers card? I apologize that you cannot see. I really need a new setup. Okay, the Lovers. I think the Five of Swords and the Lovers can also indicate that you're forgiving someone from your past. With the Lovers, we have bad faith and disappointment may result in the loss of important friendships. So with the Five of Swords and the Lovers, some of you might disagree with the decision that your friend is making, with the lifestyle your friend is choosing to commit to, and maybe you've outgrown this said lifestyle. I would say focus on the things that you have in common, and understand that he or she have the free will to make their own choices, just like you do. and they respect, as long as they respect your desire and your free will, you have to accept theirs. So you might get into a disagreement with a friend, but I don't think that I think it's temporary, but it's going to come to an end when you begin to realize, oh my gosh, and look, it's like the growth garden, right? So like sometimes they're not ready to receive what you have to say. So keep that in mind. Can you clarify the Lovers in reverse? I'm also seeing that this could possibly be a move, and the Four of Wands is just a space or a place that hasn't opened up to you yet, but will in the near future. And I think you'll probably know about this new place that you're venturing to, whether it's with a lover, whether it's with a partner or a friend or a husband or a wife, around this card's time frame. I know that I think it's the third decan of Aries season. So like the last week of March. Maybe this is money coming in, like a windfall of money, or maybe you guys might be winning something that brings you new opportunities or new money. Can you clarify the Four of Wands, please? Clarify the Four of Wands. But this place is going to allow you to be free to express yourself. I hope you dance. That song is coming through. Yeah, we have 10 of Cups. Your wish comes true. Look at this. Success and happiness in the family circle. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that this is a new home, or this is possibly, this could possibly be a pregnancy. I'm not entirely seeing that as such. I'm seeing this as more of something new that is coming in. It could technically be like a marriage proposal. Can you clarify the Six of Pentacles, please? Can you clarify the Six of Pentacles? I'm hearing like a money tree, because I know that the money tree also is a tree of prosperity, but I think it would help you to have one if you can. Or just buy a plant in general. Just have that miracle of life growing around you. We have the Three of Cups. This card of friendship, good for parties, health, signifies the horn of plenty. You're going to be, I think, given a lot more that you can give, and you feel open to giving. And then we also have 3. Lucky number 3 with Virgo energy indicates news of a wedding or a new romance. So some of you might have a love affair with a Virgo. Some of you might have either this is you or a significant other with Virgo as your sun, moon, or rising. And Virgo is also about health and habits and acts of service. Okay, we're going to get a love card. Actually, I'm going to wait. I'm going to reset my camera. Okay, we're back. We're back. Da 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 da. Okay, a romance card for pile number 1. A romance card for pile number 1. A romance. Oh my god, I sound so stubby. Or I'm sorry, you're not pile number 1. You're pile number 2. Get the front door out of here. We have wedding. This situation involves marriage. For some people, this is a validation that you're going to get married. And it's asking you to just have faith. Also, on the back of the deck, we do have release your ex. This is time to clear your energy. So for those of you who are single, maybe some of you had plans for a wedding with this person and it fell through. And since then, like, weddings are sort of cringe for you. You don't really like the idea of a formal wedding. So like perhaps you have like this person is going to renew that love of celebration for you. But this is just like telling you, don't worry. If you're single and you're like, I'm never going to meet the one that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, this is your sign that you will. And for others of you who are single, this might mean that if you have a wedding that you're going to, you might meet a significant other at said wedding. Or you might experience something there that will lead to a new romance. It can also represent your parents' marriage and the way that it's affected your feelings and beliefs about relationships. And I know we talked about the idea of falling in love and that being sort of an illusion. And it's only after that, usually when marriages come, that's usually kind of when you see if this relationship is really going to stick or not. And obviously, I mean, this isn't going to apply for everybody, but if you have been married before, look at your present, look at your past marriages, and really consider your feelings with the intention of healing your heart. And if you feel like you need a marriage counselor or you need a refresh appointment, maybe seeing them might not be a bad idea. With the five of swords in reverse, if you're not like making amends, like maybe it's just too much and too many issues. So at times this can signal the end of a marriage. Okay. So it kind of depends on where you stand. Ew. I hate when I'm stuffy. Okay. Career clarity for my pile 2s for February 2023. Oh, and February is Valentine's Day. So that might be fun. Some of you might get proposed on for Valentine's Day. We have heart's desires. The angels are supporting, guiding, and protecting you as your dreams become a reality. I feel like the Nine of Pentacles in reverse kind of symbolizes, like, this is bad faith and disappointment may result in the loss of important friendships. Like, you not trying to maintain a friendship is not going to help the friendship last, right? You actively need to make an effort, whether that be making a call or scheduling a time to connect with each other, like physically, like reunite. And that's the same thing with your career. If you say that you want a business or that you say you want a YouTube channel, you need to take action to actively move forward physically. Okay, hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna go blow my nose. Okay, so with heart's desires, it's interesting that we also have the Lovers, because I think this question is from your spirit guides, and like it almost also goes back to this temple path. Are you where you want to be? And the key word there is want. Because you can work hard to get to somewhere, but that doesn't mean that you want to be there. And I think this is, if you have the capacity to sort of get out and take either like a solo vacation or just like a weekend away, or just spend more time alone with yourself and ask yourself what it is that you really want, and give yourself like a break from your normal everyday to think about it. Highly recommend you do that. Or some of you might have like a retreat or something that you can go on that might be really healing for you. But once you've clearly thought about it and you can pinpoint where your desires are at, and you have that awareness and that knowledge that yes, you deserve whatever your heart desires, then you'll notice doors of opportunity start to open. And by listening and honoring to what your inner voice has to say, you can take the next step that leads you into action. Okay? So you might have some work to do, and if you feel like you have been going through a lot of career blocks and you haven't been really able to navigate them on your own, maybe consider a career counselor or career coach to help you through the uncertainty. Because especially with the Four of Wands, I'm seeing that you have a lot of gifts. Maybe you've always wanted to be a writer. Maybe you've wanted to be in social media now for a while. But you have to remind yourself that, first of all, yes, this is what you want. And if it's what you want, then you need to meet the universe halfway in taking that action. And when you do, I think you're going to start seeing these blessings sort of come to you faster in the 3D. You might want to be a marine biologist. You might want to work with animals. You might want to work in finances or even counseling or event planning. Those are just some things that I'm picking up. If you want to see a career reading on my channel, leave a green heart in the comment section. I love this. We have obstacles and blocks are lifted. All your good personal work and your positive energy shifts have overcome previous obstacles and blocks are lifted away. You'll now experience progress and forward movement with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. I would also say channel times in your life when you experienced obstacles and challenges being lifted, and bring those emotions into your energetic body now, and you will be surprised at the shifts you start to see in the way that you perceive reality and you perceive your finances. With this card, I'm also seeing that these fear-based blocks are coming through as breaking free as a result of your personal growth. So keep that in mind. Stay centered, stay rooted in positive energy. As long as you're doing your best and you're putting your best foot forward, I see progress coming, or that you're seeing results in February and beyond. Try not to let your mind think in terms of black and white or immediately go to the worst case scenario, because you manifest, you don't just manifest your desires. I mean, you do manifest your desires, but you ultimately manifest your beliefs. So if your filter is telling your brain, like your RAS, your reticular activating system, operates as your brain's filter, right? And if you keep telling yourself, I'm never going to make it, or this job sucks, or I think that my coworkers are out to get me, your brain is going to ultimately look for confirmations to show you that indeed you're telling the truth, or that ego, that little voice inside is telling the truth. So again, be mindful. So I want to get an affirmation, but I'm also feeling called to pull some letters. So maybe I'll pull those first, and then we'll end with your affirmation card. I didn't feel called to pull this, but I think that it might help your intuition. We have sat. We have and if you see letters or words that are if you see words that are significant, like, let me know in the comments so you can help others who chose this pile. fact. Maybe some of you right now, like if you're in writing, maybe you start off as a fact checker, or I just heard getting down to the brass tacks. I have most of the letters minus the N to make train. And there's a train actually like making noise outside. So maybe I don't think that you want to be a train conductor, but I do think that maybe you have to take a train or you have to commute somewhere to be able to do what it is that you want to do. Aid, like be of aid to others. Said, like maybe you are bringing up the facts about what someone said about you, and that can be gossip. And so I think also a sign of maturity and a sign of growth is moving past those superficial things and again getting down to the brass tacks. We have I, you, and this could also be someone's initials. I know I like tax. I know that X is not there, but I'm seeing that. Ridding yourself of energies that no longer serve you. Half. Tact, like saying things with certain tact. Act, taking action. Act as if. Sad, maybe you're sad now and you need to process those feelings, but you won't be sad forever. I'm going to get some times for this group as well. This clam is supposed to have the pearl in it. It just fell out. We have resist. Resist into... Also, like some of you could have been married and you gave up your work to raise your kids, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe you're getting back into the workforce, but this time you're wanting to do something different than what you did before. We have this peacock earring, and peacocks always like embrace their individuality and they're super confident. This is like Leo energy as well. And actually, I think peacocks are also associated with Aquarius. This is just a string of diamonds, but this almost looks like a bracelet. So maybe you guys are into jewelry. Also, we have cat. So some of you might be getting a cat. We have fad. Maybe you're not playing into fads right now. You're kind of going against the grain here with this peacock. And we have this little like Hawaiian flower. So maybe some of you need to take a trip to Hawaii, or you need to go to like a tropical paradise where you can really unwind. Even if this is, again, a solo trip, don't do it like there's a reason why you're being called to go in a certain direction in life, okay? I didn't realize this said affirmators till now, and I think I've had this deck for like well over a year. That's not embarrassing or anything. Also, a pearl, I did look it up once. A pearl can take a very long time to grow, okay? So honor the process for which that growth happens, okay? Maybe some of you are getting some form of jewelry as a gift for Valentine's Day. Maybe be careful about where you leave your earrings. Like maybe you might leave them somewhere and you can't get them back. I also see the resist energy in this pin is just like, resist that need to conform to fit a mold and just be you, because others admire you for it. Okay, we have no judgment. I love this energy. No judgment. I release myself from any and all judgments. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? Joyville. Joyville. I love this. We have manifestation. If you could have anything you wanted, what would it be? Get specific and get greedy. You are holding a magic wand and you can conjure up anything. Could it be that when you declare your wishes out loud, you're actually casting a spell for your dreams to come true? Or is it just that, in a very practical sense, the more people you speak with about your desires, the more folks there are who know what you want and might have the means to help you make them happen? Either way, stop waiting and start manifesting, but don't use that word if you don't want to. I will say, be careful with whom you share. Oh, we do have the IRS taxes. I know that was really random. ADHD. But if this person is like a covert narcissist and like when you tell them about your dream, they just sort of shit all over it, avoid telling them. If you have like even an inkling of what you think they're going to say and you're not going to like what they have to say, shut it down. Just shut it down, because you don't need that energy in your life. You don't need that energy funking with your vibe. And then we have nature. It's time to unleash your inner hippie and step outside of that man-made box. Take a walk in the woods, smell those flowers, hug some trees. You might think you're being ironic, like, look at me, I'm being all tree huggery and stuff. But you'll find that even then, those trees will hug you back. Trees come from a time before irony, and their earnestness is impervious to our jaded humor. If that doesn't make you want to hug them even more, well, I guess you're a robot. But yeah, stepping away from the screen and honoring time just with yourself and being out in nature. If you can't go outside, because I know that there's winter, I know that California recently got a bunch of storms. Maybe consider getting, I heard xoxo talking about it, and I didn't even know that this was a thing, but it's like a grounding mat specifically that you can get, and I will link it down below if you are interested, pile 2. But maybe that's something to ask for Valentine's Day, or to get as a treat yourself present, because it might help reduce some of that anxiety and really help you connect with yourself and your inner child a little bit more. So that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Again, I'm a new creator, so any recommendations you have on video ideas, I am all ears for it, so let me know. Thank you. Toodles! Pile 3, welcome to your reading for the month of February 2023, pile 3. These are your oracle cards that I have laid out. We're going to start with these, and then if you don't feel like you are connecting... Oh, I have to change this setup, guys. I have said it in so many videos. For those of you who have ADHD and you're like you have to move all the time, just cheers to us, because we go through a lot of frustrating shit that not a lot of people... that others don't have to go through. I'm not saying that ADHD is the only thing out there, because it's not. So your crystal of the month is sunlight. I literally just dropped her on the ground. Oh, We have a piece of tumbled. I don't know why I just went into ASMR mode. Tumbled satellite. We also have the 5th chakra card with Archangel Gabriel. He is known to be the Archangel on the Judgment card as well. We also have 12 here, 3 and 9. So February 3rd, February 9th, or February 12th could be significant for you. Also, there's no 30th of February. But the 3rd month, so March, the 30th of March could be significant. We have Return to Source here. Return to Source. There's a lot of purple energy on this card, so this is like crown chakra energy. We have Satya, or truth. We have well played, completing a task successfully. Way to go. Nice work. Clever. Well done. Great move. We also have facade, which accentuates our solar plexus chakra. I think it's interesting that we have facade, and then we have truth, and then we have this 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel, because we are sort of, I'm getting the image here of an onion, okay, with the Shrek, like I have layers, and you're peeling back all of those later. Oh, these astro dice are not, this was from the last group, I apologize. These layers are extensions of you that you've inherited potentially as a child. And the facade card is all about sort of unraveling those belief systems that are not inherently ours. They were belief systems of our parents, right? And I did want to read the Return to Source card. It says, letting go, this is the affirmation, letting go allows me to begin anew. Completions and endings holding a unique energy. As the final stage in a never-ending cycle of life, death is the last letting go of a life experience. This is the process that brings any creative endeavor to a close. After a time of inspiration, growth, and sharing your gifts, you are being asked to let go of that which has run its course. If something has lost its vital force, but you have kept holding on to it, now is the time to bless and disconnect from it. Give a proper celebration and burial. The magic of this stage lies in keeping the faith and belief that in death we return to source. A new conception, pregnancy, and birth await you. You are opening up to a portal to new and vibrant endeavors. By releasing what has fulfilled its purpose, you can rest and look forward to fresh possibilities. But right now, you must fully acknowledge the conclusion of this present adventure with gratitude and reverence, and then disengage to honor the ever-ongoing cyclical process. The journal prompt, what in my life am I no longer inspired by, but continue to put my time and effort towards? And so, for example, YouTube, and I'm using it because it's a very broad example, and a lot of people create YouTube channels, but sometimes they get caught up in the numbers. So it's like, if you solely focus on the numbers and maybe one video gets this many views, but then the next video gets significantly fewer, you need to release that notion that your self-worth is based on the number of views or the number of hours that your audience is connecting to your content. Instead, look at the source. Are you feeling inspired when you're creating this content? How is your energy when you're uploading? Another example would be applying for jobs. If you're applying for jobs with the energy of desperation or like, I'm probably not qualified for this job, or I'm probably not going to get this job, your spirit guides are going to show you what you're like. They're going to turn those belief systems back to you. So it's really important for you to stay true and honor your desires, but also being honest with yourself about what's not yours. Is this dream to become, I don't know, an architect, for example, really your dream, or is it somebody else's dream that you're trying to validate? We'll just give the Astro Dice a roll and see what comes up. So we have 12 and we have 9. These are both mutable houses. So this is almost like, this is keeping an open mind and being adaptable to change. And with the 9th house, there's always something that you can learn and take as wisdom from a situation. We also have the South Node. I believe this is the South Node. It could be the North Node. I have to check. I think it's the South Node, but the South Node represents the wisdom and the insight that we have brought from our past lives into this life. So for example, if your South Node is in the 9th house, then your North Node would be in the 3rd house. If your South Node is in the 12th house, then your North Node is in the 6th house, if that makes sense. And we also have Aries coming out to play. So Aries is a pioneer. This is the energy of independence. Maybe this is financial independence, like well played. Might also indicate a need to compete in something, but like, is winning the ultimate goal for you? Like, what is the ultimate end all be all for you? I think that's what your spirit guides want you to ask yourself this month. Let's do some book magic. I've done this for all of the piles. We have The Road Less Traveled, and I've used the same book in all of the readings. This is a book on the new psychology of love, traditional values, and spiritual growth by M. Scott Peck. Dr. M. Scott Peck. As I was flipping through these pages, I just learned to, not learned, but it came to me, a sunflower seed, for example, is not just going to grow. Like, you're not going to plant the seed and see a rose at the end of the day. Does that make sense? Returning to source. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. Like, again, with this facade card. Okay, so this page is 140. So February 14th, or Valentine's Day might be important. February 1st or February 4th might be important as well. Or February 5th. Whether it be shallow or not, commitment is the foundation, the bedrock of any genuinely loving relationship. Deep commitment does not guarantee the success of the relationship, but does help more than any other factor to assure it. Initially, shallow commitments may grow deep with time. Hold on. If not, wait, hold on. Initially, shallow commitments may grow deep with time. If not, the relationship will likely crumble or else be inevitably sickly or chronically frail. Frequently, we are not consciously aware of the immensity of the risk involved in making a deep commitment. I have already suggested that one of the functions served by the instinctual phenomenon of falling in love is to provide the participants with a magic cloak of omnipotence, which blissfully blinds them to the riskiness of what they are doing when they undertake marriage. For my own part, I was reasonably calm until the very moment that my wife joined me before the altar, when my whole body began to tremble. I then became so frightened that I can remember almost nothing of the ceremony or the reception following. In any case, it is our sense of commitment after the wedding which makes possible the transition from falling in love to genuine love. and it is our commitment after conception which transforms us from biological into psychological parents. The importance of the distinction between biological and psychological parenting is elegantly elaborated and concretized in Goldstein, Freud, and Solnit's Beyond the Best Interests of the Child, and that was published by Macmillan Publishing in 1973. I might have to give that book a read. Commitment is inherent in any genuinely loving relationship. Anyone who is truly concerned for the spiritual growth of another knows consciously or instinctively that he or she can significantly foster that growth only through a relationship of constancy. Children cannot grow up to psychological maturity in an atmosphere of unpredictability, haunted by the specter of abandonment. Couples cannot resolve in any healthy way the universal issues of marriage, dependency and independency, dominance and submission, freedom and fidelity, for example, without the security of knowing that the act of struggling over these issues will not itself destroy the relationship. Problems of commitment are a major inherent part of most psychiatric disorders, and issues of commitment are crucial in the course of psychotherapy. Character disordered individuals tend to form only shallow commitments, and when their disorders are severe, these individuals seem to lack totally the capacity to form commitments at all. It isn't so much that they fear the risk of committing themselves as that they basically do not understand what commitment is all about. Because their parents failed to commit themselves to them as children in any meaningful way, they grew up without the experience of commitment. Commitment for them represents an abstract beyond their ken, a phenomenon of which cannot fully conceive. Neurotics, on the other hand, are generally aware of the nature of commitment, but are frequently paralyzed by the fear of it. Usually their experiences of early childhood was one in which their parents were sufficiently committed to them for them to form a commitment to their parents in return. Subsequently, however, a cessation of parental love through death, abandonment, or chronic rejection has the effect of making the child's unrequited commitment an experience of intolerable pain. New commitments, then, are naturally dreaded. Such injuries can be healed only if it is possible for the person to have a basic and more satisfying experience with commitment at a later date. It is for this reason, among others, that commitment is the cornerstone of the psychotherapeutic relationship. There are times when I shudder at the enormity of what I am doing when I accept another patient for long-term therapy. For basic healing to take place, it is necessary for the psychotherapist to bring their relationship with the new patient the same high sense and degree of commitment that genuinely loving parents bring to their children. The therapist's sense of commitment and constancy of concern will usually be tested and inevitably made manifest to the patient in a myriad of ways over the course of months or years of therapy. You might not understand, again, also, like, why, if you're in a relationship, for example, why your partner can't commit to doing the dishes every night and you cook, or why they can't help you clean the laundry or do the fold the laundry and put it away. And again, you might have to unravel and renew that sense of commitment and what that means to you, and also defining what it is that is worth committing, what you're willing to commit to, and understanding that this is a bond. This isn't just like a piece of paper. I'm going to start your tarot now. So if this didn't resonate, maybe go find a different pile. But if not, stick around, and here we go. It's interesting that we're talking about commitment because I have the Ace of Rings here and I have the Fool in Reverse. And the Fool in Reverse is all about that hesitancy towards commitment. If you remember I feel like in Lord of the Rings, in The Hobbit, Bilbo was a lot more hesitant to go for it because he didn't really see himself as a hobbit being able to go through something But I feel like Bilbo is an example of what it means to redefine and heal generational trauma, because in the series Lord of the Rings, hobbits are seen as like not scum, but like known to just like to party and have a good time, but they don't really deal with conflict well, right? They like the comfort of the Shire, and that's it. And with the Ace of Rings here, like there is pure potential that you may just not be seeing. The Fool can also talk about opportunities that are meant to find you. You might not be aware of them right now. We have the Moon. I think we have the Moon in another pile too. Ah! So many cards. I'm just going to take the one that faced up front, which is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups can also talk about our options and what it means for us to be able to choose the path that we authentically feel drawn to, or intuitively feel drawn to. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Rings, or in this case, the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles, what I love is they see life through new eyes, right? Especially the Page. If you're applying to school, or if you're applying to some sort of certification program, that might be like an omen. But again, like, so for example, when I started grad school, I knew what to expect from grad school, but I don't think my peers were on the same level. So for example, they did not like the idea that there was no summer break, that you would just start. And it's like, grad school is something that you really have to consider, like how it will change your life, because until you're done, you are working. Grad school is sort of like half school, half job, and learning how to actively apply what you're learning. And mind you, it's a shortened amount of time than undergrad to the real world. So can you clarify the Ace of Rings in reverse? What opportunities is this bringing for my pile 3s in February 2023? Interesting. We have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a very dedicated individual. This is someone who isn't going to be rushed into starting or finishing when they're not ready. This is a very dark-haired, dark-eyed young man. This can also bring up new responsibilities. I'm also seeing too, someone might be like saving up to buy a ring. For those of you who have been in relationships for a long time and you know that this is the partner that you want to marry. We have Sagittarius, lucky number 4, and this pertains to changes, moves, or travel, indicates new friendships or associates. So this could also be a Pentacles type of person that is helping you understand the value and the nature of what true commitment is. So I want you to think of, maybe this could even be like, hold on, I have to take a sip of my tea. The Fool is all about almost like a lack of optimism, okay? You could be feeling stuck in a certain career path and you don't understand how to get out of this. You might be someone who's young at heart and whose inner child just exudes brightness. And because you're so in touch with your inner child, you can get wounded easily, as children often do. And it takes me back to that facade card, especially around this Leo full moon. I would ask you to consider or think about, reflect on ways that you have been, like how you've been invalidated in the past or bullied or picked on, and how that's helped you become the person that you are today, or how that's gotten you to where you are today. Sometimes we don't recognize how these instances give us strength, and it does hurt. I'm not saying that it doesn't, and it takes away from our innate ability to trust. But when we recognize how we can move past these wounds, we're all the more stronger for it. This isn't a super great time to start new things, but rather to finish things that you've already started. Okay? Or play up to your strengths. Go back to something that you know how to do really well. And it's interesting because we have air here, we have earth, and we have water, but we don't have fire. And so this newfound passion may have dwindled. And so this is sort of like your commitment to something is being tested. And with the moon card, I think your spirit guides are really urging you to trust your instincts. Okay? Trust that the path that your spirit guides are leading you towards is the right one. And you can even ask Archangel Gabriel. You can ask him for a sign. He has the trumpet, or it looks like a trombone because the horn is so long. But listen to what the lyrics you're listening to have to say. The Seven of Cups and the moon can talk about digital artwork. So maybe some of you draw on your artwork, draw on a tablet. And maybe there's this piece that you've been needing to finish, but you haven't had the time, or you haven't given yourself the time. But also there could be a lack of focus here. And you're using that as an excuse to be like, oh, well, it's all right. I'll move on to the next one. And while a new idea, a blank canvas seems really satisfying, it only seems that way because it's new, because you haven't dealt with those obstacles yet. And so, of course, it's going to feel invigorating and exciting. But there's something more about finishing something, accomplishing something that needs to be celebrated here. And you can do it as long as you believe in yourself. So you could even be in the market to start an Etsy shop, or have a desire to start an Etsy shop. But I think also with the moon and the Ace of Pentacles, you could be feeling emotionally vulnerable, or you might have a fear of putting your work out there because you're afraid of what others are going to say. And I just have to tell you that the right people are going to find you. Your right audience is out there. You just have to find them. And so with this Knight of Pentacles here, you are the artist, and your spirit guides are telling you that you can take all the time you need in the world, okay? All the time in the world. The Fool and the Knight of Pentacles can also indicate a new job opportunity. So again, pay attention to how you are applying for jobs, or the energy exchange that you are having. Can you clarify the Fool in reverse, please? Can you clarify the Fool in reverse, please, for pile 3, February 2023? Well, guys, we do have the moon. So the moon's appearing twice here. And we also have the Eight of Pentacles on the back. So the moon talks about misfortune to a loved one, false hopes, and foolish daydreaming. So with the Fool and the Moon card here, make sure that you're not leading other people on. If you don't want to do something, let them know. If you're not feeling a project, let them know. You don't have to over-explain, but you also need to let people in, which you might have a hard time doing. The Eight of Pentacles. This card indicates a promotion and improved financial opportunities. Again, as you're taking action, I'm almost hearing like the fake it till you make it. If you don't follow MK Fit on YouTube, she is a freaking Aquarian goddess, and I love her fitness content, and it makes me feel like like I'm back in jazz class in my childhood years, which is why I think I have gone back to dance. So maybe I encourage you to do something that you did as a child. If I haven't said that already, do that. Can you clarify the moon? And the moon is all about uncertainty, right? But it's also about cycles and understanding that there are going to be ups and downs, but there's also going to be a time for you to shine. And the moon is also about creativity. I think your spirit guides are urging you to tap into creativity. We have the moon. The moon is, and the Four of Pentacles, gain in speculative matters, possible legacy or gift of money. You might be unsure about how to go about making money, and I would say look at someone who has accomplished what you want to accomplish. On the back of the deck, we have unfavorable moon, lucky number 5. This says, denotes gossip, slander, or intrigue. Beware of jealous friends. So your friends might look at you and be like, I want what they have. They might not see the obstacles that you're going through. And just remember that everybody has a story, okay? Can you clarify the Seven of Cups, please? Can you clarify the Seven of Cups? Oh, I love this. I love this energy so freaking much. We have the Ace of Cups here. Very favorable card, indicates love, happiness, and abundance. I'm also seeing possibly new streams of income or multiple streams of income. Maybe you and your partner go like in on a joint venture. I'm also seeing with the Seven of Cups and the Ace of Cups that there's creativity in the way that you go about solving problems or the way that you're looking at your problems. You might see them from a new perspective. The Seven of Cups and the Moon can also indicate blogging, or expressing your experiences, and this could also either be through vlogging. So some of you, again, are starting to try doing YouTube. I would just say don't get discouraged, because this endless search for a new beginning, you're only going to be able to go and begin again so many times, right, in life before you need to commit to something. So just, again, keep that in mind. I'm going to get a love card for my pile threes, I'm also hearing some of you might be inheriting something, like you might be inheriting a business, or you might be inheriting a sum of money from an ancestor. Maybe they've left you something of value. I love this. We have new love. Okay, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. So this is like a little Valentine's card. This is so cute, okay? This is introducing someone new into your love life. Maybe you've met this person recently and they've caught your eye, or you've caught theirs. But this, if you're wondering if they've noticed you or if they know that you even exist, this is that validation that this connection is indeed real and it is safe for you to explore it, and you'll be guided through inspired action. If you're already in a relationship, this could be seeing your existing relationship in the eyes of new love. You could also be getting into relationship counseling, right? Some of you have had an affair. And for those of you who are in a relationship, that guilt might come and sneak up on you. So I would urge you to confront that issue within your present relationship, because I don't think you're ever going to truly move on. For some of you, you're going to meet a new person completely, if you haven't met them already. And your angels, your spirit guides are asking you to give yourself that reminder that you deserve love and that you're lovable. And to keep your eyes and ears open, because otherwise you might miss your partner when they smack you square in the face. We also have keep an open mind. I don't know why I felt the need to draw two. Your soulmate might differ from your usual type and expectations. With the keep an open mind card, stay open to different forms of your soulmate. Also keep an open mind as to your love languages, because sometimes if you haven't discussed with your partner, and you're not familiar on your love languages, you might not recognize what your partner is showing you is actually their form of the love language they think that you need, if that makes sense. For those of you who are trying to find their soulmate, you might have been introduced to this person before and you just kind of dismiss them. I would say get to know different people, even if it's not an initial attraction, because at the very least, you'll get to know yourself better through these interactions, and you may even make a new friend, who knows? Messages for life purpose and career for my pile of threes, February 2023. I also wanted to validate, hold on. Bum, 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 bum. For example, I'll give you an example of how my partner was different. Like, for example, this Knight of Pentacles, okay? Yeah, so my partner is Filipino, and before I met him, I actually manifested him. He's a Leo, and I wanted a Leo son. And although this person might be loyal and faithful, he might not be as imaginative or as open to spirituality, for example, as you are. But when I heard that my partner would have black hair, I was like, what? What? Ironically, my last partner had black hair though, but I wasn't expecting to say black hair. You know what I'm saying? And not that you have to look for a certain person with certain characteristics, but just like, don't shut out a possibility too soon. All right, pile 3, February 2023, life purpose and career messages. We have protected. You are safe and supported while you change your career. So your spirit guides are wanting to reassure you that if you are thinking about making a career transition, you'll be supported along the way. Now, trust that inner voice inside. And I would say the time in February, like this is time for you to make that change, whatever it is. I would just say not to rush. Don't make any rash decisions. But this, whatever you're going towards, might feed your inspiration a lot more than your current position does. As long as you're focused on how this job is not, like, don't just think of it as a job that's going to pay the bills. How is this job going to contribute to your overall happiness? How is this job going to allow you to feel contributed? Like, allow you to feel like you're contributing to causes that you believe in? But your angels and your spirit guides are protecting you. And we also have practice at the bottom of the deck. The answer to your question about how to better your career involves your time and attention on a skill that's related to your heart's true interests and passions. So maybe this, like we talked about art before, maybe you need to practice a little bit more. Or maybe you want to do yoga. You want to be a yoga instructor. Well, that involves enrolling in a yoga school program. So I would practice visualizing yourself enjoying the benefits of being successful in whatever this pursuit of yours is. Again, it's all about energy exchange. So if you're seeing this transition and you're like, this is going to be a rocky road, I'm never going to be able to get what I want in life, like your reality is going to mirror those thoughts. So try not to get so down in the dumps. And I know that that's easier said than done, but use those obstacles to rev up that discomfort to get you going to where you need to go. And just trust that it doesn't come in a day, and that's okay. I have to go blow my nose, so give me a second. I also heard make time in the day for practice. Even if it's like, let's say that yoga example, let's say if you could only do 30 minutes a day of yoga training, that's better than 0 minutes. Or if you're training for a marathon, for example, going for a run for 4 miles is better than not going for a run at all. Okay, let's get a wealth and abundance message for you for February. Okay, we have visualize abundance in all forms. And I was talking about the process of visualization. This card, I'm sorry, I forgot to read it. God gave you such great spiritual power that everything you visualize eventually becomes reality. Hold a steady vision of that which is beautiful, healthful, positive, and filled with blessings, and that is what you will experience. Now, again, if you're having trouble visualizing, or you visualize and then you walk away with those feelings that you're not good enough and that you don't deserve this, you're going to manifest your beliefs. You might have to make some adjustments and start a little smaller to accommodate where you are. And that is perfectly okay. Manifesting is a very powerful tool, and learning how to manifest as a conscious creator can help you attract blessings sooner. But that shadow work is essential. So for example, if you're like visualizing a new home, there'll be like an energy mass of a home floating next to you and around you. And thinking of those emotions will help bring elation and happy vibes. But then if you're done and you're like, well, I'm never going to get the house. I'm just like this, what if this doesn't work? Again, then energy will come back to you as you are saying it. So you really have to believe. And I know that that's probably the hardest part. So that's why it's important to forgive yourself for all of the things that you think that you've done wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. Nothing is good or bad. You just have positive and negative experiences that help shine the path that like where you're meant to go. Especially if you're about to make this change, I would also advise you to start saving up early so that you can feel comfortable and you don't have to rely on a job that isn't making you happy. I'm doing some affirmations for you. We have inspiration. There is a voice of inspiration within me right now. It's only a whisper, but the more I listen, the louder it will get. Soon it will be a flawless speech, voiced by James Earl Jones, through a megaphone with lots of applause. Oh, I love this. We have connection. I'm connected to the multitudes and I can access their support at any time. Even a stranger offers a sense of comfort when they smile at me or make a dumb comment about the weather. Everyone is waiting to connect. All I need to do is open myself up and pay attention. Note to self, work on witty banter about weather-related stuff. Don't be afraid about making small talk with others. I have heard that you can see this as angels or God talking through others to you. So pay attention. We have get centered, which I really like this energy. When it gets to be too much, whatever it is, I close my eyes and return to my center. In my center, I have the wisdom and tranquility of a favorite animal, a penguin holding a magical item. A penguin holding a crystal ball floating through space on a piece of furniture, on a bedroom dresser. You can't not laugh when you fill in those blanks. It's almost like Mad Libs, if you've ever played those. Okay, that is all I have for you, Pile 3. Please let me know if it resonates. And as a new content creator, I'm always curious to hear what you have to say. So if you have any video recommendations, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. If you want to hear a career reading specifically, leave a green emoji heart and I will oblige. All right, thank you so much. Toodles!